All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Financing Essentials, Empowering Reps for Success, brought to you by Ingage and our financing partner, 1&Fund. And we are so glad to have you all here with us today as we discuss this really interesting topic. I think it's very timely, and I'm hoping at the end of this conversation, you're going to have some real takeaways to be able to bring back to your business and implement. Before we go ahead and get started today, just want to review a few Zoom essentials. I know many of you have been with us over the years of our webinar program, but just in case you're new to how we do things here, I do want to let you all know we will be utilizing the chat functionality today. Chat is great if you've got comments on any of the topics at hand, or if you are really interested in a specific topic and want to dig in more. Also, if you're having any technical issues, please feel free to use that chat box. Morgan Vera from Ingage is on the line to help out with any of those technical problems. So if you see her responding, she is from Ingage. She is official. She will be able to help you there. You're going to find that chat by running your mouse over the screen where it says Financing Essentials, and down at the bottom, you should see that chat bubble. We will also be utilizing the Q&A functionality. This is really helpful for me as your moderator to be able to disposition questions. So what I mean by that is some questions we may want to answer live on the air. Some questions might be really specific and we might want to follow up with you afterwards. And some questions we may just go ahead and answer directly in that Q&A. So if you ask your questions there, we can go ahead and let you know how we're planning to answer them. So that way, you know what to expect. You're going to find that Q&A in the same place where you find the chat function. All right. So without further ado, let's dive on in today and talk about our agenda. So briefly, we will meet our speakers who are here. I am very excited to have the crew that we have today. I will give you a 30-second overview of what Ingage is, just so if you're actually part of a different network or if you found this webinar through a different channel and you don't know who we are, at least that way you'll know who we are. And then we have a great interview today. We are very lucky to have an industry legend interviewing our financing partner from 1&Fund. And then we'll have some time at the end for questions and answers and a brief wrap up. So who is here today? Well, many of you know me. More of you probably know my cat than know me at this point. But I am Pam Torrey. I'm the director of marketing here at Ingage. I've been here for almost 4 years. Which is shocking to say because I'm a millennial and we job hop, but they've kept me around because this company is great and because this industry is so much fun to work in and work with. And I am very excited to be able to introduce our two speakers. So I'm going to start with Justin Hatcher from 1&Fund. Justin, can you quickly introduce our audience to you?
Yes, and first I want to say congratulations to you, Pam. 4 years for a millennial is amazing. So it's a great feat. So hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. Like Pam said, I'm Justin Hatcher, the co-founder and president of 1&Fund. So I have a very unique background in the home improvement and financing space. So my first role started off as a sales rep sitting at that kitchen table, which led me to various roles in the financing industry, which led me to a company called Land Home Improvements, which you'll hear about here shortly. Where I was the finance manager, where I ran all the daily trainings for financing, looked at all the numbers, and negotiated deals with lenders. So what I noticed with that is there was a huge gap with the process. So that's a big part of where 1&Fund comes in today. It really streamlines that entire process for that sales rep in the home. Thank you.
Awesome. And I am so excited to have Brian Gottlieb on the line. Brian, we have not done a webinar together, I think, since 2021. I was living in a different house the last time that we did a webinar together. So it's definitely been.
Did you have the same cat?
I did have the same cat.
As long as you have the same cat.
Yes, I did have the same cat, but I was definitely living in a different house because I remember the last time I talked to you, I had a different background. So Brian, could you please introduce yourself to our audience for the folks on the line who maybe don't know you?
Sure, and good to see you, Pam, by the way. We've been a longtime fan of Ingage. Since the very beginning, we've been using Ingage in all the businesses that I've owned. So I'm the founder of Land Home Improvements, business located in Wisconsin. I'm also the founder of Renewal by Anderson of Greater Wisconsin and Jacuzzi Bath Remodel of Arizona. Today, though, I don't own any of those businesses. They've all been acquired by either private equity or my executive leadership team. But at our height, when you combine all the businesses, we had just under 600 employees, and we were doing $150 million in revenue. Justin Hatcher was my finance manager, so he's the best in the business. So I was really excited to jump on this webinar today because I'm very familiar with why Justin started the business, with what the business is. In fact, full disclosure, I was so excited when I heard what he did. I said, I have to invest. So I'm also an investor in 1&Fund. That's how cool it is. So we're going to have fun today, and we're going to play a game though to start things off. And if you're watching this and you're a participant, you're welcome to try to guess the answer before Justin does. Pam, you just tell me when I should start.
Okay, first I'm going to do my 30-second pitch, and then I will kick it off for you to start.
Perfect.
And as a reminder for everybody today, this webinar is being recorded. So if there are any nuggets of information that Brian or Justin say, and you're like, I need to remember this, you don't need to worry about remembering it. We will send you a recording so that you can go back and reference all of the wisdom that is going to be dispensed today. All right, without further ado, real fast overview of Ingage. Ingage is the premier sales enablement presentation platform for the home improvement and home services industries. We help our customers to create dynamic, beautiful, interactive presentations, share them with those who need them and keep them up to date, and then measure their impact through rich analytics on the back end. So that's a little bit about Ingage. Without further ado, Brian, please take it away and let us play this game. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that everybody can see our shining stars of guests, and so that you can get into the chat and answer those questions.
Perfect. And now I see the full size Justin. Good to see you. Okay, full disclosure, Justin has absolutely no idea of the questions I'm going to ask him. Okay, so this is a full surprise. What we're going to do is we're going to start off by playing a game. And the game is, you have to fill in the blank, Justin, or anybody that might want to mention in the chat. The blank is things that are blank, okay? Things that are blank, right? You have to guess what goes in the blank. And I'll give you some examples. Addresses, accountants, manufacturers, burnt out light bulbs up in the air and you don't have a ladder, old smoke detector batteries in a 10-foot ceiling, CRMs, things that are
necessary in the home improvement space.
your socks with your shoes on.
Things that are protect your feet, protect you.
Things. Okay. Is anybody else want to try to guess that? Pam, you want to take a shot?
Well, we had somebody write in
replaceable. We got Chris.
replaceable.
Hey, Chris, good to see you, man. Replaceable. Actually, things that are hard to change. Like when you change your address or a credit card, when you have all your like automatic payments attached. It is like it's like going to the dentist, isn't it? Or we just moved into a new home, trying to change all of our addresses around so that our zip codes work and our billing addresses. CRMs, changing a CRM. But you know what else is really, really a nightmare to change? I mean, your socks with your shoes on, by the way, hard to change. But talk to me about the pain, the grueling pain, because I've done it too many times as a business owner. By the way, we financed about $100 million in revenue each year. So the pain, the grueling pain of changing financing companies, that's where I want to start.
Yeah, that doesn't sound pleasant.
No, it's not, Brian. That's a great question, and I appreciate you stumping me with the game. So that was good. So no, it's super hard to change processes in general, right? You know, there's a couple things that go with that. Is home improvement companies and just companies in general, they're used to their processes, and a lot of people don't think they're broken when they really are, right? But in regards directly to Brian's question, whenever I would have lenders come into Tundraland and they would have the greatest program that could slice dice, make everybody's life easier, my response to them was, we're a big ship. It's very hard to change our processes because every time we would have a new lender, I would have to sit down and train every different department, every different sales team. It was a nightmare, so you would think it's as easy as flipping a switch, right? It's not. It takes a lot of implementing the processes, and it's not as easy as it sounds.
Yeah, but you think, well, why would anybody ever really need to change a lender anyway? Okay, I have a lender. I've been using them forever. They're my lender. The challenge is the industry changes, and the way lenders buy, they change all the time, and the cost of a lead is significant. And when you have a sales rep running an appointment, you need to give them the tools so they can maximize their conversions. And we know what it's like when you're sitting at the kitchen table and you're pitching something and you're laying out a monthly payment and you're financing it. And then there's this denial that happens, and it's like the air just gets sucked out of the room, and it just kills momentum. So, sometimes finance companies stop buying at certain levels. So we're always looking for what is the right company, the right financing partner. But to Justin's point, it's a grueling process. If you think about it, it's okay. First, I have to get with my IT department because I got to get with Justin, and he's got to talk to 5 lenders or 6 or 7 or 10 lenders so we can find one that might work for us. And then we go through the application process. And then once we decide to do it, then we have to get the apps on everybody's device. And then we have to teach the accounting department, how do we pull funds, the sales reps, how to navigate between these different apps. And by the time you get everything running, maybe they change they're buying again, and you got to start the thing all over again. It's highly disruptive. When the sales rep is in the home, you want the process to be very, very seamless. And I think the solution some companies came up with, and I understand why, is what's called a waterfall. That, hey, if I pitch financing and you get a denial, I can always fill out another application and see if maybe you can get approved for that one. But Justin, I know you started your career sitting at the kitchen table just like me. Mm-hmm. When the customer gets their first denial, how much energy is lost at the kitchen table?
No, I'm going to ask you this, Brian. Have you ever seen a balloon that is fully expanded?
Yes.
And then imagine a pin hitting that balloon. That's what it feels like in that room. The customer probably knows they don't have the best credit. You as a sales rep, you just spent 3 hours rebuttaling everything they threw at you. You overcame that, and then you get that denial. You just feel defeated or deflated, to use a balloon analogy.
Yeah, and so the waterfall, for those that don't know what a waterfall program is, it's like you have your primary first look lender, and when that gets a denial, you go to a second application. So you have to start that application process all over again. You hope they get approved, and if that doesn't work, then you have to go to another application. But more often what happens is, so you either have to have a finance manager in your facility, if you don't do waterfalls, right? Somebody that's chasing second look lending. And that's what Justin used to do a lot of. The sales reps would sell so much on their first look lending, but then there was this pile of people that we couldn't get financed. And that was probably 80% of Justin's time was to chase second look lending, or a sales rep trying to navigate different apps through a waterfall program. So, Justin had this vision, and, the industry was fundamentally broken. And I was excited to see what he put together. So Justin, explain to me what you've done and why it's so flippin' cool for homeowners and for sales.
I appreciate the setup there, Brian. What we've done is we've taken the idea of a waterfall, but we really streamlined it so it's not a waterfall. And just to kind of dive deeper on that waterfall, I like to refer to a waterfall as lender roulette, right? Just because if you have somebody in that scenario you brought up earlier, where they don't have the best credit, why do you want to send that to to a prime lender where it's going to get denied, right? And then it's going to go down the line, so on and so forth. So it just creates a really poor customer and really poor rep experience. So what we created, and we streamline that process. So once we have an application submitted to our platform, we have you like this, Pam, a patent pending proprietary model.
I can do this. Yeah. Patent pending proprietary platform. I learned that from Jennifer. I got it.
Thank you. So our system on the back end will pre-underwrite that customer with that patent pending system, and it will direct to the right lender the first time. So it just really streamlines that process. So a rep doesn't have to submit 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 applications, depending on what that customer situation is. They don't have to have that balloon popping scenario. It just streamlines the entire process for both customer, rep, and even the lender experience on the back end.
And you could have 2, 3, 20 lenders on the platform. excuse me, and if a company already has a very close relationship with a lender, they could be part of the platform just like any other lender.
Absolutely. It's very seamless.
What I really love about it is that the customer doesn't know that they got declined as a first look lender. They just know they're simply approved. And you can go, how deep can you go with your on this app, on this one simple app, by the way? It's the same app for everybody. So the one simple app, you can buy down pretty deep, can't you?
Correct. So we have 2 lenders coming on that will be buying down to all the way down to 550 FICO credit.
Yeah, so when you talk about capturing a wide variety of buyers at the kitchen table, you're really capturing, you know, the vast majority of first, second, third look lending, which is really exciting. So Justin, help me understand why. Why did you start this business? What was your why behind it?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. You know, my why behind it was there's a lot that went into it. You know, bringing up your point earlier, you know, I would work extremely hard to chase that 80% second look, you know, my pile, right? And, you know, there's nothing worse than getting somebody approved, chasing them, finally getting them on the phone. And, you know, it could be 10 minutes after that rep left the house, or it could be 2 days, right? And in that, time is the biggest killer in home improvement, right? So I wanted to really streamline that process so that customer didn't have time to talk to their neighbor's dog to say, don't buy this anymore, right? Or whatever the scenario is. So just to streamline that process and really to give the home improvement companies one login to get to all their different lenders, right? So that login is going to give them access to their entire pipeline where they'll see who's funding the loan and they can request funds all from the back end of the one application. So normal multiple logins, no more confusion of wait, who's funding this, who's not funding it. It really streamlines the entire front and back end business with financing.
Yeah, the response to your demo was significant. It was really cool to see how in the accounting team, they don't have to have 17 different passwords to get into the portal. You know, just want to share with you that in business in general, just to step out of financing for a minute. Look, you know, if you asked me what was our success in building a really large business, when did we really start to scale? We really scaled when we began to remove the complexity out of our business. You scale a business by focusing on simplicity. By the way, simplicity is hard. Complexity is easy. It's super easy to make a business too complicated. It's really hard to make it simple. The challenge with a complex business is the more complexity you have, the more you need unicorns as managers in these different departments to run these different divisions. The same is very true in financing. The more complicated your financing process is for the sales rep, for the homeowner, for the accounting department, for the sales manager, for the CEO of the business, the more complexity and the less successful it's going to be. So I love how you've really helped business owners simplify their financing. And again, that's why when I saw this, I saw the demo and like, you gotta be kidding me. This is the coolest thing since sliced bread. I had to invest. It was really cool.
Well, Brian, I
Appreciate
think that
that.
ties back to a lot of the things that we've noticed with technology in this industry in general. Like, you don't want the homeowner knowing that you're in 4 different apps in a single appointment. You want all of those apps to seamlessly flow together so that they feel like they're having a seamless experience. The sales rep doesn't look like a fool, you know, trying to flip through every single application on the device. And it just feels like a streamlined experience, that simplicity that you're talking about. So I think that ties back to like everything else everyone is focused on right now with tech stack and with creating an experience.
And we know, by the way, if you look at call it whether it's any lead aggregator, whether it's a home advisor, Angie, Modernize, you name it, they know that they tell you the secret to being successful is you want to respond to the lead in like 5 seconds, and the longer it goes, the less likelihood it's going to convert. The same is true on second look lending. When you don't sell something because of finance reject, every minute that passes before somebody can get back to them on an approval lowers the probability of that actually becoming a net deal. So if a sales rep has, oh, I got a denial off of this first look lender that we've always used, let me bring it back to my office, and my sales manager's going to try to put it out to some places tomorrow or the next day, or a finance manager. This actually, what I found interesting is this really eliminates the need for a finance manager with this technology. So you probably just made a lot of enemies.
Well, you said it, not me. So
I mean, I was thinking about that. I'm like, gee, would I even need Justin if Justin had this tool? And I'd be like, I wouldn't need a Justin. Well, I always need a Justin for training and development and that sort of thing.
yeah.
Can you talk to me about that? Because you've carried the bag at the kitchen table, and because you've worked with more than 100 sales reps just in my companies, talk to me about how you train sales reps on how to sell financing, and that how you weave yourself deep into the fabric of organizations that you work with.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And speaking of events that just came up, I spoke at this at the Dave Yoho conference and had rave reviews. So, it's not as simple as every time you show a number, show a total price, you show a payment, right? That is at least the minimum, the bare minimum you want to do is it's really bringing up the conversation early. And I've had countless conversations with, sales owners, sales leaders, where we debated on this. And, when I say bring up payment options early, it's as simple as soon as you ask the right kind of opening discovery questions to get why the customers want you there, give them a simple, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, what's going to happen next is I'm going to go through, do a walkthrough. I'm going to show you where you will find any problems with your project or your house. And then I'm going to present you this, and then I'll show you price. And when it comes time to move forward, some of our customers like to pay us cash, some like to pay with a credit card, some like to use financing. It's as simple as setting up at the beginning as with that. And then as you're going through your demo, then you can, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, a lot of our customers love our flexible payment options, so just to help us figure out what the, best fit is for you, you can ask them about their credit, right? Then you can ask them a few simple questions about their credit. Then you talk about, okay, if you're looking at a payment, do you want your payments to be blah, 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 blah. You give them 3 options and go through the down payment, right? So if you set up all those different things and make it conversational, you'll easily increase your numbers double, right? So there's a company in a $30 million roofing company that I was working with in Massachusetts. They were financing 8% of their jobs, which is kind of crazy to me for being that big. So after training with their staff, they're up at 50%, not only to help them finance more, but their average ticket went up by 20%. So
Yeah,
there's so many different benefits.
So as we jump into sales training for a second, to any salespeople that are watching this, it is desire without a sense of urgency has no value. Desire, look, I think anybody on this webinar would see a Bentley and say, wow, I would love to have a Bentley. That's a really, really nice car. You might have the desire, but you have a sense of urgency to go out and buy one today. What in home improvements, when you're working on fixing up somebody's home, you're going into the home to solve some kind of a problem. So whatever you're showing them is going to make their home better. So the homeowner will always have desire for what it is that you show them. Having desire does not guarantee a sale. You have to move them from desire to a sense of urgency. And you're able to move them. The bridge between desire and a sense of urgency is, in my opinion, it's a path to affordability. Because everybody wants it, they just don't know if they can afford it. And financing creates a conversation around affordability. It's no longer about price alone. If you think about it, the 4 things you have to sell on every appointment when you're in the home is, why your company, why your product, why your price, and why right now. Selling your price is a lot easier to do when you're going to be able to break it down to something that's super affordable for the homeowner.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So Justin, if somebody says, wow, I love what 1&Fund does, that would really fit nicely in my business. Walk me through that process. How do they sign up with you? What do they do?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So we'll have a nice QR code at the end of this presentation where you can easily get signed up to start that conversation with us, and then really it starts with just a simple conversation to get to know your business a little bit better and figure out, where and how we can help you grow to where you want to be.
That's great. That's great. And by the way, if you're not using Engage, you have to use Engage. Let me just say that. Absolutely. If you're not using Engage, you have to use Engage, right? Because Engage, what it does, it allows you to deliver a presentation with a high degree of consistency. And that's super important for your sales reps. The more professional you can make your sales reps look in the home, the more successful you're going to be as an organization. Having the right financing tools, having the right presentation tools. Engage is such a great, again, I've been a longtime fan, still am a longtime fan. It's really a great tool. And I
Brian
like
was the OG. He was the OG.
Look, I'll share with you, when we were a small company and we were using Engage, the customer never knew we were a small company. That's the beauty of technology. It really raises the level of professionalism when you're customer facing, and it's really powerful. And I
Yeah,
understand.
that point about like how technology makes you appear more professional, I love it because we often get folks who are on that growth trajectory. They're the people who are starting to attend these events. They're the people who are, maybe they're taking over a family business, or they've decided they want something different with their business. It's a growth mindset. You don't have to be a huge company to adopt these strategies. You don't have to be a huge company to bring technology into your business. You can be mid-sized and bring technology, and you can be a small company and bring technology in, and nobody will ever know that you only have 5 reps.
That's right.
Right.
What I love about, a PowerPoint is very vertical, right? You start here and end up there. And it's like, all right, I'm going to take you through a PowerPoint presentation on why we're so great. So it tends to be a very vertical presentation. And, if the customer wants more information on something, well, we'll get to that after we go through these 47 slides I have, and then we'll get to that. What's cool about Engage is you can drill down in certain areas that really matter to the homeowner. And so it makes your entire presentation more customer focused, and that's what makes it highly successful. And then, so Justin, you mentioned you want to introduce the concept of financing early in the home, right? And then you want to introduce it again when you're presenting numbers. Do you think anytime you put a price down, you should also put a monthly payment next to it? And if so, explain why.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the reason that is I gave this analogy before is we've all been in the house and you have a homeowner who has all the shiny shiny new cars, shiny new technology, and they're cash buyers, right? Oh, I pay cash for everything, and then, before you give them a price. So if you think they're cash buyers, they're not, right? That's the end of the day. So after going through discovery, I always kind of joke, people raise your hands after you showed them that price, how many people actually paid cash, and be amazed how many hands go down.
Right.
So, customers, they have their own guards up. So it's, you always want to show up, even if somebody says they're a cash buyer, that's fine. Still show that price, right? Because what happens if they don't want to sell or take their money out of this market or this account or whatever? So even cash buyers finance at the end of the day. So,
I've had the pleasure of working with companies and sales teams all over the country. And every once in a while, I'll come across a company where they say, yeah, but our customers, they only pay cash. And while that might be true that the people that bought paid cash, but the ones that didn't buy, which is usually the bigger percentage, you're right, they only pay cash, and you didn't give another option to buy from you. I think as we just built a new home. Okay. I was mentioning that with changing addresses. And what was so frustrating is we're getting these invoices in and trying to get them paid, Okay, somebody bills me. I want to pay it. I call them up. Do you take credit cards? No, we don't take credit cards. Oh, really? You can mail us a check. I don't even have any stamps. I've got to mail a check now. But in some places want to charge me 3% if they want to take my credit card. They're really hard to do business with. And I think financing makes your company very easy to do business with. You need to be easy to do business with. Now, how do you suggest, because financing isn't free for a contractor, right? I know you have different programs that range in price so people can really build out the program they want, correct?
yes.
But how should they think about that? Should they be charging a customer finance fees? How do you think about that when setting up a business?
It's, you can't really pass those fees along. We help a lot of companies with this too, is all you want to do is you want to build it into your margins, right? So there's a couple different ways to do it. Some people will just pick a number, take their average finance company and even take what their credit card costs are and just throw that in a lump sum.
So like
right?
3%, 4%, whatever. Yep.
Exactly. The key with that is you don't want to offer a cash discount. I know that's hard for a lot of companies but if you don't offer a cash discount, that's going to allow you to actually offer a few more attractive financing plans. If, let's say, you want to do a promotion for a special plan for a month, so you can offer those and not raise your prices, because you have all those cash deals that kind of help offset those costs.
Yeah, I mean, the data is clear. People spend more
Exactly.
money on a project. The average order value goes up with financing, the rescission rate goes down, all of that. But yeah, what we used to do is we used to take a number, 4%, and we would just, everybody would pay 4%. And I didn't care if they financed it, paid with a credit card, whatever they wanted to do, it was covered. And they didn't have to start monkeying around with different prices for different ways people paid. And then I just chose my financing programs accordingly. That's great. That's great. It's good stuff, Jake. So Justin, how do people get a hold of you? You got the QR code, and how else?
You can reach us at our website, 1andfund.com. I believe my number will be here at the end. You can call, text, email, Justin at 1andfund. There we go.
Figured I would put it up. We do have some questions as well that have come in that are, I think, going to be really interesting for us. So folks, if you want to get in touch with Justin, right there.
As far as I love helping out, is, especially watching Brian, just how much he shares with his time. I've really adopted that. So I kind of geek out on this, right? So I could talk financing home improvement for a long time. So don't hesitate to call, no matter how, the size of your company, doesn't matter to me. So
it looks like Dave is asking a question.
Yeah. So we have a first question is, I think, for Justin. So are these pre-approved lenders, or are people able to bring their own lenders into 1&Fund?
Yeah, that's a great question, Dave. So we work with a lot of the, quote unquote, best lenders in this space. But we have the ability to work with the lenders you're working with if they're not. So it's a very seamless transition to bring them into the fold and then have access to the lenders that we have. So
awesome. And then I think we should talk a little bit about integrations, because that's a big question that a lot of people have across the board is, how do you integrate with the other technology they're using? So Dave specifically asked about Sales Pro, which is Leap's in-home sales software. But do you integrate with other technology in the space? Fun fact, they do integrate with Ingage. We are going to be very shortly launching a page that will help you to talk about financing and then open the patent pending proprietary platform from Ingage. But Justin, what other software do you guys integrate with? How do you work with the tech stack that these guys already have put all of their energy and time into building and probably don't want to replace because it sucks?
Yes, it very much. It is a real pain point. So yes, we are in open discussions with all the CRMs, the Vendos, the Leaps. Just like Pam said, we'll have easy plug and play presentation about financing that you can put right into your Engage presentation, and you'll be able to click on our platform to submit the applications right then and there.
Yeah, and just to expand on what Pam was speaking of, sometimes sales reps, again, you've got some sales reps that are really, really good at talking about financing. You've got some sales reps, no matter how much training, they're really, really bad about talking about financing. And then you have the whole bunch in the middle. And what Ingage and 1&Fund are doing, can I talk about that for a second?
Sure, take it away. Less work for me.
we're taking out the complexity of having a sales rep have to explain some of these different programs. So Justin, in all his years of experience working with Pam and all her years of experience, are creating this cool opportunity where it'll be built into Ingage, especially for 1&Fund customers, where it can explain to the homeowner different financing options and why it's a good choice and what is the difference between all these different plans and which ones they should probably choose. I think it's brilliant that you folks are doing that, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that there's, as you were saying at the top, Brian, about things that are a real big pain to have to change. It is so hard to change your CRM. It is so hard to change your in-home sales software. It is so hard to make those changes because you put so much effort into building out the system and then training your team on how to use it. And so, yeah, this is a big question is to ask, do you work with my tech stack so that I don't have to change my tech stack? And I think part of why we wanted to work with 1&Fund is that you all are very much like us and that you're kind of platform agnostic. You'll work with everybody because that's the customer first mentality, is that we serve our customers best by working with everybody.
I love that.
Absolutely.
I love that.
always been our mantra, always been our motto, and that's part of why we chose to work with Justin and Jennifer over at 1&Fund. Jennifer, for those of you who do not know, is Justin's better half, and she is my cat loving sister in this industry.
Yeah, and by the way, what's really cool about it, as we know, Justin comes from the kitchen table side, so he knows what a finance manager and a sales rep goes through. And Jennifer comes from the lenders. She's worked for some of the big lenders in the industry, so she sees it through the lens of the lender. So together they were able to create this really very, again, customer centric, home improvement company centric, sales rep centric, and CEO centric type of platform. I think you folks have nailed it. Just absolutely.
Yeah. Well, do we have while we're wrapping up here, do we have any other questions come in? Please feel free to ask those. Once again, I do want to make sure that anybody who wants to get in touch with Justin, feel free to scan that QR code. We will also be putting contact information in the follow-up email. Like I mentioned at the top of this webinar, you will be getting a copy of this recording in your email. And it will be shareable. So should you have any friends, colleagues, or other folks in the industry who missed this conversation, who maybe have questions about implementing a financing program, changing a financing program, maybe they've heard about 1&Fund or attended an event and they've got questions about what Justin and Jennifer are actually doing, feel free to share this recording around with them. And of course, if you'd like to hear anything else from Ingage, feel free to scan that QR code right there and we'll go ahead and get you set up with our team. It looks like we have answered everything that has come in. So once again, Justin, I want to say thank you so much for being here and being our premier financing partner. Brian, pleasure as always. We need to have you back on more than every 2 years. I feel like that's an unacceptable amount of time in between appearances on a webinar on our platform. So we'll make sure to get you back sooner than that.
Great seeing you, Pam, and congrats on your success. And you know, you make such a big difference in so many companies' lives and the people inside of those companies. So thank you for all you do.
Well, thank you so much. And if everybody would like more information too on the partnership and on 1&Fund's patent pending proprietary platform, we also have a podcast episode coming out this Thursday that I recorded with Jennifer, Justin's other half. And so you can actually get that dual perspective. Justin here spent a lot of time talking today about that contractor experience. Jennifer talks a bit more about the lender experience. So if you're curious, keep an eye on our socials. We will have that podcast episode out for you. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. And thank you all for attending. We will see you next time here on the Engage Webinar Network. Until then, bye, everyone.
Everybody.
Thank you.